This meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners will come to order. In compliance with the Open Public Meetings Act of the State of New Jersey, adequate notice of this meeting of the Atlantic County Board of Commissioners was provided in the following manner. Published in the press of Atlantic City and mailed to the Current, the Daily Journal, the Hamilton Gazette, and the Hamilton News, and has been posted as a bulletin board, the county office building in Atlantic City, Stillwater building in Northfield, and the county clerk's office in Mays Landing. Commissioner Parker, do the prayer.
Our Heavenly Father, we give thanks for the light of another day, for the work we have to do and the strength to do it. Guide us by thy light, uphold us by thy power, and sustain us with thy love. Amen.
Amen. Please rise for flag salute. I pledge
allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Madam Clerk, would you please call the roll?
Yes, Commissioner Risley, as you know, Chairwoman Kern will be attending virtually today.
She's on the screen. Well, Maureen.
Ballas,
Hello. Present.
Bertino,
Here.
Horsey, Days,
Here.
Fitzpatrick,
Here.
Gatto,
Here.
Parker,
Present.
Risley,
Here.
and Kern.
Here.
The first order of business is the minutes of July the 19th. I hope everyone's had a chance to review them. And I will entertain a motion to adopt the minutes of July 19th.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the minutes? Any amendments, deletions, corrections? If not, all in favor, say aye.
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 Opposed, motion carries. Okay. Public comment. Anyone in the public that would like to speak during public comments, please come to the podium if you're here and state your name and the town you reside. You will be provided up to 3 minutes to speak. If you are attending virtually, please type yes in the resolution number in the question and answer box. Any items not listed on the agenda, you may speak on during public comments. You'll be raised from an attendee to a panelist. When you're raised, please state your name and the town you reside in. Also, this is a historic meeting for us. This is our first closed captioning meeting, so hopefully this will work out well and the sentences will come out as correctly as we can say them.
Close. Speak clear.
Okay. All right. Before we go into our presentation, which we have Dr. Phil Gunther here first, I'd like to just mention, you saw it on our website, the fact that we were successful again in court regarding the pilot legislation. And Judge Blee ordered the state to pay us $2,362,000 and change within 5 days. So we won again in court. We don't know whether or not the state will go for a stay of an order or an appeal. And it's a home run for us, winning again. It's just a shame that we have to spend all this money. Mr. Ferguson, you want to make a few comments on this?
Yeah, thank you. It was a huge victory for the county. Judge Blee gave us basically everything we asked for and in the amounts that we asked for. The only thing he denied to us was our request for compound interest on the award, which normally is not granted. And as part of our application, we also asked to be reimbursed for the time spent that Jerry spent, Bonnie, Diana, and myself, that we spent a lot of time helping counsel prepare the various documents. That was denied by the court ruling there that any party that's in litigation really has to expend the time of its employees to prepare for litigation. And he didn't think that was proper. On the counsel fees, he deemed that there was a willful violation by the state, at least as of May 15th of this year. So any fees that we had to expend from May 15th onward, we will be making an application with affidavits that have to be presented within 7 days of the judge's order, which was issued late on Friday. It's a sweeping decision. The state is required to make payments on the deficiencies in the first 2 payments. They made quarterly payments in February and May. Both of those payments were under the amounts that the state would have had to pay under the consent order had it not been for the 2021 amendments. And that amount is $2,362,500. And then there are 2 remaining quarterly payments due on August 15th and November 15th of this year. And each of those, he has ruled, are in the amount of $5,568,750. What the state was prepared to pay us under the amendments was a little over $17 million in total. With this decision, they will be paying us $22,750,000. And importantly, the judge ruled that going forward from starting in calendar year 2023 through 2026, which is when the pilot ends, they will have to make quarterly payments under the terms of the 2018 consent order, and as that is interpreted in accordance with the provisions of the act which were in force at that time in 2018, not the new act. And that includes, and this is important, calculating gross gaming revenue to include internet gaming and internet sports wagering. Those are things that the 2021 amendments removed from the definition of gross gaming revenue, and we argued that that was improper, that the court, if those amendments were allowed to stand against the county, it would in effect be vitiating the terms of the consent agreement, and the judge so found. As I said, a very, very sweeping decision, one in which he found that the court, that the state engaged, and I'm quoting now from his decision, in light of the court's February 25, 2022 and May 2nd, 2022 decisions, the state had no justifiable reason for noncompliance with the terms of the consent order. For this reason, the court finds that the state made a, quote, calculated decision, end quote, to willfully violate multiple court orders when they issued the deficient May 15, 2022 payment. Accordingly, the court grants plaintiffs an award of counsel fees and costs associated with this action incurred on or after May 15, 2022. As to where things will go from here, the state will appeal this. They tried to file a motion for what's called interlocutory appeal back a couple of months ago. We opposed that application on the ground that we were at a stage in the case where there was going to be a damages hearing on July 13th, and that it didn't make sense for the appellate court to take something on an interlocutory basis, which they rarely do, when you had a pending damages hearing, where then, once that order was issued, there would be a final judgment where they can appeal as of right. And in fact, the lead appellate judge, Judge Clarkson Fisher, wrote back and said, we're not even going to consider the application in light of the pendency of the damages hearing. And so that took place on July 13th. We had the damages hearing. All credit goes to my co-counsel in the case, Ron Riccio, who is just, throughout these proceedings, was nothing short of brilliant. There's no other way I can put it. He's just a fabulous, fabulous attorney, and it showed throughout. The state has filed a motion for a stay, but surprisingly, the return date on the motion for a stay is before Judge Blee on August the 26th. I can't explain why they would do that when they've been ordered to make that first payment of $2 million plus this coming Friday. But that's what they filed, and they're also filing with the appellate court. Mr. Riccio will be opposing that on the grounds that the appellate court doesn't even have jurisdiction because applications for a stay are first made under the court rules to the trial court. And then if the trial court denies the stay, then they can go to the appellate court. So we'll oppose that application. And then arguably, if the payments are not made timely, the state may yet again be in violation of court orders. So, and I'll reiterate what the county executive said, it was in the press release. All of this was unnecessary. We made every attempt to reach out and engage the state, both before the legislation was signed, after the legislation was signed, and Judge Marzak, before he held the hearing on the case in February, strongly suggested that the parties go to mediation. We indicated our willingness to go to mediation. The state refused mediation. I don't know who's calling the shots up there, but so far they're 0 for 4. And I suspect it's not going to get much better for them. So it's all unnecessary, and they need to be held to account because this matter should have been resolved many, many months ago. I'll leave it at that unless there are any questions.
Mr. Ferguson, thank you for all that you've done, and the county employees and all the staff and the legal counsel and the county executive. Our steadfastness has paid off.
Yes, it has.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you.
Anybody have any questions for Mr. Ferguson?
Thanks again.
All right. Thank you. All right. Then we'll go into our topic this afternoon. We have Dr. Phil Gunther here, who's going to give us an update on what's going on with ACIT.
Thank you, Commissioner Risley. I did send over some slides to kind of show you the work that we've been doing since the last time I was here. But I want to begin just by a brief description of the timeline that we're working with now. We were officially noticed in 21 that we received a $40 million grant from the state of New Jersey. Of course, the Board of Commissioners approved $13.5 million as the local share for a $53.5 million project. We've been hard at work with our professionals, with the architects, and also working with the stakeholders in our building to make sure that what we're designing will actually work for the academic and career and technical areas that they represent. So we are at a point where our plans are almost, I would say they're finalized in terms of floor plan. There's still some value engineering going on with materials, and we will be ready for this project to go out to bid as soon as we get the okay from a couple of agencies. We are still at Pinelands. We've been there since about January. Part of the process has been, there was a delay in their initial review. And then there's an interactive process that goes back and forth about, what has been designed and the changes that they want to see. As of yesterday, they have received everything that they wanted from us. So hopefully we'll be in about a 30-day review process with Pinelands. We also have to send the specifications up to the state for their approval. Any project, I think is it $10 million or more, Bonnie, that they need to approve. So that process can take up to 30 days as well. So we'll be ready to, specifications are almost completed. So I think we'll be fine with that. So the bottom line is what we're looking at is probably a bid spec, a bid that would be out on the street in October of this year. And something, a project of this size will probably be out for close to 2 months to give bidders an opportunity to review the specs and to put in what we hope is a very competitive bid. With that being said, we're probably looking at awarding the project early January, and then hopefully shovels in the ground as soon as the successful bidder can mobilize with the project. We are using the Atlantic County Improvement Authority as our construction management entity, and they've been involved with us for several months, just going through some of the value engineering and also working to move this along as it needs to go through these regulatory agencies. We have been before the Hamilton Township Planning Board, and they were fine with the plans that have been submitted. We have some other agencies like the Hamilton Town Municipal Utilities Authority and the Soil and Conservation. Those things will be happening simultaneously, I think, to Pinelands going on as well. So hopefully things come out of Pinelands within that 30-day window, and we can move forward with some of the things that I described. I brought a few slides, some renderings. I don't know if the freeholders have seen these renderings before. This is actually the front of the building that would be located between the two buildings we have right now, and this would be facing 19th Street. So it would connect the two buildings. The one is the old Special Services School District building, and the other is ACIT's main campus. We call the old Special Services building the South Wing. We've put a lot of upgrades into that building over the past several years. So it's ready to be connected. This is the cafeteria. With this building, we are installing a new cafeteria because we'll be serving approximately 425 additional students in the programs that we'll be offering. The next slide, this is just another rendering of the cafeteria. And cafeterias have changed since many of us have been in school. They are different spaces now. There's a variety of furniture and different ways that students can interact with each other. And actually, one of our things to try and do right now is to take the other cafeteria and make it look more like this one as we go forward. So students who may be scheduled in the other building don't feel that they're losing the same type of experience. So there's plenty of natural light. Certainly, the colors and all of that have been incorporated by the architectural team, I think, are ones that students will find inviting, and they do incorporate our school colors as well. This is a typical classroom. So in buildings like this, the general classrooms, there's one model for these academic classrooms, although the furniture may vary. So some teachers may want desks, others may work at tables. It depends on how it's furnished, but the actual room will have a setup like this. These are the corridors in the new building, which in the new building, we will have all of our health sciences programs, and there's a culinary, 4 new culinary labs as well. So they're kind of distinguishing those spaces off the corridor so that students will be able to see their program, but also take pride in what they're involved in. This is the lobby of the entrance to the new building. So when you come in that lobby, if you go to the right, you would be in the cafeteria. If you go to the left, you would be in a new gymnasium that is part of the project. Right now, we have about 1,800 students in one gym. So it's almost impossible to schedule phys ed. We have to do a lot of creative things with students outside and doing what we can. So we definitely need 2 gyms for a student body of that size. These are some floor plans, but I wanted to show that the connection. So what you see is the main building that is there now, and then there's that small connection that's coming off of that main building, and that will take students inside into the new, we call it the CTE building, so that they don't have to walk outside and we don't have to use buses any longer. The buses are not only hard to get, but they're very expensive to move students all day. So in this new building, we'll have a new aviation maintenance lab, which you're seeing with the plane there. Next to that, it's a little hard to see, but that is a new state-of-the-art welding and advanced manufacturing lab. And the rest of that space in the what really is ground level is health sciences a new exercise science program that we'll be adding to health sciences. And some of that space can have dual purposes too. Could be used by a phys ed class, but the exercise science piece will be incorporated into that. On this floor, it's a little hard to see. We have some general purpose classrooms and of course the gymnasium, locker rooms. That is the cafeteria area. And then the culinary labs are off the back of that, adjacent to a small kitchen. Our goal is to produce the lunch in one kitchen that we already have, and then have an auxiliary kitchen, which will be this part of the building, so that food will be brought up there, and it might be heated, or some things can be made there, but it won't be as comprehensive as the kitchen that we already have. So we're able to save some money with that concept, since we already have a large kitchen down in the main building. And I think the next one is going to show you, this is the health sciences suite. So health sciences is one of our biggest programs. And of course, all of these programs are aligned with Atlantic County's economic development plan. We've been working with the Atlantic County Economic Alliance. So the aviation piece, you know, that health sciences is another focus in Atlantic County. So we'll have our dental assisting, medical assisting, general health sciences in that area. And then there's some spaces that they could share. There'll be a simulation lab and conference room that the students can share. Simulation labs are very sophisticated now with interactive mannequins where the teacher can actually program what they want the students to work with, you know, in terms of symptoms or anything else that they want to do with students. And then there's another piece of equipment called an anatomage, which shows students human anatomy in 3D. So it's basically like a giant iPad. So we're looking to install that as well. So this is the sort of a farther view. You can see that little red entrance there. That would be the entrance to a future field that would be located behind the building, that would allow us to take advantage of, you know, the way that building is oriented and also the space behind. So we need another playing field as well as a track. I'm not sure if the commissioners noticed, we have a pretty successful track team without a track. So we somehow they figure out those terms. Being successful. But you know, hopefully all this will be coming. We're hoping there might be an advantage to some of the delays, that prices may go down a little with, we know that the supply chain issues and with inflation, they're starting to see things come down a little bit, which would be to our advantage in the bidding environment. So that's where we are right now.
Good job. Anyone have any questions for Dr. Phil?
I don't have a question, I got a comment. So I am hoping that this project gets started and finished. And I'm hoping in the meantime that we have this supermarket started in Atlantic City before you complete it. Right? So you're behind, you come after the supermarket announcement, you're far ahead of the supermarket. Now they're telling us that it's material projects, the whole 9 yards. November be a whole year, we still waiting for them to start the construction on the supermarket in Atlantic City. But you far ahead, and wherever you're getting your materials from, maybe not the CRDA and ShopRite people and find out if we can piggyback off of y'all. But on a serious note, that is outstanding, well deserved. We've been talking about this project for a couple of years now, and it's good to see it getting to this point. And I'm sure at the end of the day, the kids are going to be very, very excited and happy. And then we may have the same problem in a couple of years that Amy was complaining about over in the township with Cedar Creek and all of them and Oakcrest, sending their kids over here. Hell, everybody's going to be wanting to send their kids to ACIT, so it'll be a regional problem. And I'm not sure if that's a bad problem to have. State-of-the-art, outstanding, and the kids in our community certainly deserve it. We certainly urge the other school districts, whatever they can do to participate, do it. we can't commend you enough for the job you've been doing over at ACIT along with your staff and to see this moving quickly ahead. I just hope there's no delays once you start your project. But congratulations.
Well, thank you, Ernest. And I have to say too, that if you look at the other districts, they are all upgrading their facilities. They've done some beautiful work in a lot of these schools. And I think they're going to continue doing that. There's some bond referendums, I think, coming up. And, you know, it's, I think as you,
Good.
well, it is, but it's also, you know, giving the students the best educational space that you can. And I think there's a commitment to that.
Right.
And hopefully the funding is there, you know, other districts to do what they need to do. And the other thing is hopefully we can, in our culinary program, believe it or not, one of the things that they really need are cake decorators in supermarkets. So we teach that. So hopefully we can get some people over to the new supermarket in Atlantic City to take, they have the culinary piece as well with some of the hot foods, but the cake decorating apparently is a shortage.
Commissioner Gatto?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. First of all, maybe Atlantic City should hire the Improvement Authority as their construction project manager as well. We could get things moving along, just
No
saying.
comment.
Second of all, I did not complain about the other districts. I was simply representing some of the concerns raised by
You
the
can
other
twist it
districts. And I think what we have seen from some of that, as you mentioned, is that they are upgrading facilities. And we've been able to establish some different partnerships with some other programs and grants that have come out of the same grant that you all received. So for example, we have the cybersecurity and esports grant at ACCC, and they're partnering with several of our other high school districts in the county to create some feeder programs and things like that. So I think we're seeing a good evolution, and it's just about working together and communicating together. And I think you coming here and giving a great update like this is exemplary of what we should be seeing in terms of communication along the way on time. So
Well, thank you.
thank you for continuing to come here and keep us informed and keep, most importantly, the taxpayers informed. So thank you for the great work.
Thank you. And I should mention too, we applied for, and Commissioner Gatto knows because she was involved in some of the discussion with an aviation grant through the federal government.
Yes.
It was our first crack at a large federal grant outside of educational space, but we weren't successful in getting it. They with that grant, what we wanted to do was to start some aviation in some of the other schools, but also let the other schools have access to our classroom at the NTARP building.
Yeah.
We didn't get that grant, but we have another crack at it. We have a pretty good idea of where we need to be with that. In fact, I don't think any of them were given in New Jersey. I think they were all in the Midwest.
We got the dam instead.
Yeah.
Mr. Ballas?
Sure, yes. First of all, sir, thank you. Great update. Really appreciate it. So from what you're saying, we're looking at, maybe sometime in the winter of 23 to actually start physical
Yes.
work out there. And that's going to go side by side with while school is in session and not interrupt school and
So
plan for
that can't guarantee, we're going to be open.
right?
Will there be some noise? Most likely.
Right.
Our goal, what we had hoped to do was to do the site work this summer. That was a little too ambitious for the agencies that have to approve us. So we were not able to do that. But what we were able to do is we were able to build a new maintenance building, a storage building, because we have to tear down the existing warehouse that's been there since 1974. Because the new building is going to sit on top of that site. So we got a little bit of a head start in terms of having the maintenance building done, but we weren't able to get the approval to do the site work, which, we were disappointed because that's the noisiest of the
Right.
work that probably has to get done. But there's, last time we did an addition at ACIT, we actually occupied the building while we did the addition.
Right, I
So
remember that.
it was an experience for the students, but we were able to make it work.
So once they actually start construction, what are you looking at a time frame? A year?
We're probably looking at hopefully September of '24. You know, hopefully that's not too ambitious, but that's what the architects tell me.
Makes sense. Great.
Just one,
Commissioner Gertino.
just one quick comment again. I think we're all alluding, I'm really in all the technology that you're utilizing now in the new schools that's available, the health science stuff, interactive dummy mannequins programming. That's kind of really, it's obviously we haven't seen anything like that in the region. If we are, it's very specialized, and that's showing you guys obviously have a vision for cutting edge. And that's where Atlantic County has to pursue and push on the education side. So it's a pretty amazing to me watching some of that. It's going to be pretty, I know where kids will be pretty excited, and you're right, they're all going to want to run there. So, hopefully, as we said, the schools are going to react as they always will. Competition drives competition, and the local schools could take advantage of that same kind of technology if they make some upgrades in their facilities as well.
So Stockton actually has some of the same technology. Theirs is functioning at a higher level because they're college students, most likely than, what they have the doctoral program in physical therapy. They have the way you can program this thing it does a lot. Our students may be, working at
Entry level.
an entry level and then be ready to take on the next level, especially the medical assisting students, who a lot of them go right after the world of work, right after high school, and they're very much needed in the area.
Dr. Guthin, thank you for the update on this. And I know Commissioner Adam mentioned the esports, ACCC. The other side of that maybe doesn't get, the headlines is the IT side. Are there any plans to, of what is currently provided, first of all, at ACIT, as far as the IT profession? We just had to talk actually in Brigantine the other day about fiber optics. There's all kinds of money available now from the federal government and the state. Are there plans to enhance that? Because I'm sure that's probably difficult to stay up on top of. It's changing so rapidly.
It changes all the time. So we've had an IT academy probably since 2003, 2004, and it continues to evolve. But so what we've learned over the years is that there are some students who are very interested in programming, networking, and there's not much computer repair anymore. But programming and networking and cybersecurity. And then there are other students who are interested more in the creative side, the web page, the web design, the graphic arts, the video, because a lot of video is embedded in web pages now. So we've actually broken the academy into two actual tracks that students can take. And on the programming side, they are getting the programming languages, while they're in high school. They're getting the cybersecurity. They're taking classes in robotics and other things that prepare them for that part of the industry. And then the other students are working as well. But it will change again. The languages have changed. They're doing Python now. They were, even though they still do some Java, but it's.
The state of New Jersey could use some Cobalt. Maybe we should do a special.
For unemployment.
Yeah.
No, that's good. I mean, with e-sport, and we just mentioned, internet gaming. And
Yes.
That's fantastic. Thank you.
You don't pickleball in it too? Better.
Well,
We got that at the county park,
I wonder,
Lake Lenape Park.
Anyone else have any questions for Dr. Guthrie?
is it really?
Thank you. And
No,
once
thank
again,
you.
thank you for your
Thank you.
support so that we can get this project moving forward.
Thank you for being
Thank you.
here.
Thank you, Doc.
We're going to move right into our resolutions. We have a grant resolution number 424.
Grant application and acceptance from the United States Department of Housing and Urban Development for the Community Development Block Grant Program and Home Investment Partnership Program, amount not to exceed $1,836,812.
Second.
Thank you. It's been moved and second. Any discussion on this grant application?
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
just a quick comment, as we discussed in our budget meeting yesterday, our CDBG money did go down slightly, year over year, because the federal government actually lowered, some of the availability of the CDBG money, but otherwise, everything else is similar to last year.
Any public comment? Seeing none. Roll call then?
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Corsi?
Yes.
Days,
Yes.
Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Gatto,
Yes.
Parker,
Yes.
Kern,
Yes.
and Risley.
Yes. Okay, number 425.
Amending Resolution Number 468, adopted September 7, 2021, a professional services agreement with various architects, engineers, designers, and other professional consultants to establish the 2021-2022 pool, net increase $500,000.
Motion.
A second?
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I understand we're gonna be doing bigger projects, so we need more money. Any public comment? Seeing none, roll call?
Ballas?
Yes.
Bertino?
Yes.
Forty? Days?
Yes.
Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Gatto?
Yes.
Parker?
Yes.
Kern?
Yes.
And Risley.
Yes. Number 425. Sorry, 426.
Amending Resolution Number 31, adopted January 30, 2018, a competitive contract with Atlantic Coast Alarm Incorporated for the provision of a fire and security alarm monitoring, security surveillance, access control equipment installation, and maintenance services. Net increase $150,000.
So moved.
Second.
Discussion?
Mr. Chairman?
Yep.
Just again, as discussed in Budget Committee, the reason for the increase is around some additional, security needs requested by the new centralized municipal court. And the committee was supportive of that.
Yeah, it is a 5-year contract. Any public comment? Hearing none, roll call?
Commissioner Ballas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino?
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi?
Yes.
Commissioner Day?
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto?
Yes.
Commissioner Parker?
Yes.
Commissioner Kern?
Yes.
And Commissioner Risley.
Yes. 427.
Renewal competitive contract with Center for Family Services for the operation of a Family Success Center amount not to exceed $560,114.
Second.
Thank you. Moving second, any discussion? It is a 1-year contract and there's 2 facilities, one in Lake Harbor Township and one in Galloway. Any public comment? Hearing none, roll call?
Commissioner Ballas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino?
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi?
Yes.
Commissioner Days?
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto?
Yes.
Commissioner Parker?
Yes.
Commissioner Kern?
Yes.
And Commissioner Risley.
Yes. Number 428.
Bid contract with Richard E. Pearson Construction Company Incorporated to provide improvements at the Lake Lenape Dam Powerhouse in the Township of Hamilton. Amount not to exceed $737,500.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Just to remind everybody, this is our first phase of the Lake Lenape Dam project. This is a huge step that we're taking in terms of being able to actually get some of the improvements started. As you know, we've kept our foot on the gas on the work with regard to the dam. We have our next phase is moving forward quite well. And everything that we're doing is to make sure we get all of our contracts encumbered by October 1st, which is required for us to be able to get the $4.6 million in federal grant money that we were able to obtain. So we're working hard toward that date.
Very good. Thank you. Any public comment? Hearing none, roll call?
Commissioner Ballas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino?
Yes.
Commissioner
Yes.
Corsi? Commissioner Days?
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto?
Yes.
Commissioner Parker?
Yes.
Commissioner Kern?
Yes.
And Commissioner Risley.
Yes. 429, please.
Bid contract with Health Mats Company for floor mat rental and cleaning services to various locations in Atlantic County. Amount not to exceed $68,046.56.
Motion.
Second.
Moving second, discussion? Hearing none, public comment? Roll call?
Commissioner Ballas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino?
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi?
Yes.
Commissioner Days?
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto?
Yes.
Commissioner Parker?
Yes.
Commissioner Kern?
Yes.
And Commissioner Risley.
Yes. Okay, 4:30, please.
Renewal lease agreement with Rutgers, the State University of New Jersey, for the use of a portion of the Atlantic County Office Building for the Boggs Center on Developmental Disabilities for its positive behavior support and schools programming. Revenue generating.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on it? Hearing none. Any public comment? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ballas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino,
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi,
Yes.
Commissioner Days,
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto,
Yes.
Commissioner Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
and Commissioner Risley.
Yes, 4:31, please.
Amending Resolution Number 387, adopted July 5, 2022, a contract with various providers for the provision of hospice services at Meadowview Nursing and Rehabilitation Center to include the Arden team doing business as New Jersey Health Hospice and Palliative Care, no cost.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Moved and seconded. Any discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none. Roll call.
Commissioner Ballas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino,
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi,
Yes.
Commissioner Days,
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto,
Yes.
Commissioner Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
and Commissioner Risley.
Yes. 4:32.
Alternate method contract with New Vision Systems to help eliminate the backlog of documents to be within the statutory requirements. Not to exceed $25,000.
Motion.
Thank you. Just a second.
Second.
Moved and seconded. Any discussion on this resolution?
Mr. Chair, just to highlight, this is being paid for out of the clerk's trust fund.
That is correct, yeah. We discussed that. Any other discussion? Any public comment? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ballas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino,
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi,
Yes.
Commissioner Days,
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto,
Yes.
Commissioner Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
and Commissioner Risley.
Yes. 4:33.
Intergovernmental Services Agreement with Burlington County whereby Atlantic County will house up to 85 female inmates from Burlington County. Revenue generated.
Motion.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? I think I would comment on is that the rate per day is being increased, so that's good for us. It went from $89 and change to $96 and change, so that's an improvement there. Any public comment? Not? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ballas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino,
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi,
Yes.
Commissioner Days,
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto,
Yes.
Commissioner Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
and Commissioner Risley.
Yes. 434. 434.
Interlocal Services Agreement with the City of Margate for the provision of snow removal and street sweeping. Amount not to exceed $7,100.
Motion.
Second.
Any discussion? County has a number of these agreements and they work very well. Any public comment? Hearing none. Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ballas,
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino,
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi,
Yes.
Commissioner Days,
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto,
Yes.
Commissioner Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
and Commissioner Risley.
Yes. 435.
Resolution authorizing acceptance of a firefighting vehicle from the City of Margate Fire Department to be assigned to the Atlantic County Fire Academy. No cost.
Motion.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Any discussion?
Mr. Chair.
Thank you.
Yeah, to Jerry, do we have space out there? Are they getting rid of another one that's out there?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, I think
Okay.
that was presented to the budget subcommittee. Mike is on.
No.
Yes.
Yeah, as it's presented, they're gonna remove one. We're gonna take this one in kind of on loan. Margate will still use it when they need it. But it'll be there to use for the training as we need it.
Got it. Thank you.
Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ballas.
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino,
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi,
Yes.
Commissioner Days,
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto,
Yes.
Commissioner Parker,
Yes.
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
and Commissioner Risley.
Yes. 436.
Resolution assigning a military surplus vehicle to Barkintown Volunteer Fire Department for use during disasters and emergency response. No pause.
Motion. Second.
Second, any discussion? Public comment? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ballas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino?
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi?
Yes.
Commissioner Days?
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto?
Yes.
Commissioner Parker?
Yes.
Commissioner Kern?
Yes.
And Commissioner Ridley.
Yes, 437.
Resolution assigning a military surplus vehicle to Egg Harbor Township Emergency Medical Services for use during disasters and emergency response. No cause.
Motion.
Second.
Moving second, any discussion? Public comment? Roll call, please.
Commissioner Ballas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino?
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi?
Yes.
Commissioner Days?
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto?
Yes.
Commissioner Parker?
Yes.
Commissioner Kern?
Yes.
And Commissioner Ridley.
Yes, 438.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I didn't want to make the comment on
Yeah.
the resolution, but through you to Jerry, why are we assigning them to him? Why are we just not giving them to him?
Because if anything were to occur and they needed to use it themselves, there's a bill. It's like a mutual aid agreement. They can still use the equipment, but it's assigned to the town. The town will use it. And if we need it during an emergency, we would take it back.
And if I could.
The only reason I asked that question,
Yeah, it's a good question.
it's,
Yeah,
if it ain't, that's good, I'm good.
Mr. Chairman, if I could, just to kind of expand on it a little bit. I don't believe with the governmental surplus program, I forget the exact number that it's called. Once you take possession of that, you cannot give it away or sell it. So that's why the county has to deliver it.
That's about, okay.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Roll call, please.
Did it.
Oh, that's right, we did that. Okay. Then we'll go to 438.
Resolution supporting Atlantic County as a stigma-free community.
Motion.
Second. Any discussion on this resolution? It has to do with mental health and substance abuse.
Yeah, Mr. Chair, I think we heard from our employees, their passion and dedication toward stopping the stigma around mental health and substance use. And they are going to be sponsoring a legislative networking breakfast at the launch of the Stigma-Free Atlantic campaign at the Carriage House on Tuesday, October 4th, 2022, 8:30 a.m. to 10 a.m. I know they're going to get the word out to a number of organizations in the county, but I put it out there in case anybody is interested in being a part of that. We all are invited, obviously, and I think it's really going to generate some wonderful and healthy conversation.
Thank you. Any other
Chair.
discussion? Yes. Maureen?
Yeah, I just have a question. I'm not sure, we did one in 2018 supporting the establishment of stigma-free communities through the county. I'm not sure what's the difference with this one and the one we already did, if anybody knows.
Is Kathy on? Yeah. Well, it's Chris. You have to get Chris Kathy's with.
I believe the one in previous was Alzheimer's disease. I don't believe it was mental health.
I believe it was.
Yeah, department.
Well, let me say this.
I was just curious. I mean, it just seemed like the same one we did.
We'll check. Why don't we do this? Why don't we check just to verify? Kathy's and I thought Kathy Quish was on with Chris, but that's okay. We'll check. I'll call in the morning. And
Thanks, Jerry.
I don't believe there was any difference, but I could be wrong.
Right.
Just renewed interest, if anything.
I won't hear that, so I can tell you.
Kathy's not here, so I'm stepping in for her, but by all means, I'll get the answer for you.
Thank you. Well, roll call, please.
Commissioner Ballas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino?
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi?
Yes.
Commissioner Days?
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto?
Yes.
Commissioner Parker?
Yes.
Commissioner Kern?
Yes.
And Commissioner Ridley.
Yes. We have chapter 159, I'll entertain a motion to combine and adopt 439, 440.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion? Hearing none, roll call, please.
Commissioner Ballas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino?
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi?
Yes.
Commissioner Days?
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick,
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto,
Yes.
Commissioner Parker.
Yes.
Commissioner Kern,
Yes.
and Commissioner Risley.
Yes, 441, please.
Resolution approving a memorandum of agreement between American Federation of State, County, and Municipal Employees 3408 and the County of Atlantic to reopen the contract to increase certain salaries.
Second.
Been moved and seconded. Discussion, please. Obviously, we're doing this to try to get some higher starting salaries,
Express, yeah.
the basis for it.
There was a number, just any other point, I think you heard, there were a number of vacancies, and especially the CNAs, I think there was something like 30 to 40 vacancies. LPNs, there was like 5. So as you all voted on these, and you all voted and supported, the hiring of temporary staff to fill in while we're going through the hiring process. Hopefully this opening of the contract will help support, the hiring of additional.
That's what we hope. Commissioner Ballinger?
Jerry, is this just to increase salaries, or is it a total redo of the contract with expiration dates and everything else, or is it just inserting new salaries in there?
They allowed us to open it up.
Mhm.
Jim will go through. There were several positions that we were targeting. And then when you target those positions, obviously you then impact on some other positions. So Jim can go through that. He helped negotiate that.
Yeah, the major thing was there are significant staffing issues mainly affecting the Meadowview facility in terms of the licensed practical nurses, the LPNs, and the certified nurses assistants, or commonly referred to as CNAs. Michelle Newton, the department head, indicates, I forget how many slots she was down. And as you know, in order to have that nursing home facility, there are minimum staffing requirements that we have to meet. In fact, so much so that there are portions of that building and floors that haven't been in use because of the shortages. They're not able to open those up. They've not had, I believe, any new admissions in a long while. That affects our bottom line. And when you're short like this, you have to bring in these agency nurses. They're very, very expensive to do. So Michelle approached Jerry about the idea of reopening the contract. We approached the union. We had, this was started when Jennifer Starr was still here. Then I took over in early June. And we had discussions for a period of about 4 to 5 weeks. We ironed it out. The positions that are mostly affected are the LPN slots and the CNA slots. But by raising the start salaries as we did, what we want to be careful of, and the union was concerned about, is you don't want to bring somebody new in the door and then they're making a salary higher than somebody who's been there for 3 or 4 years. So because of that, we adjusted certain of the salaries, and we went through the process, and it was carefully done. Liz D'Ancona of Human Resources was involved in this. Jeff Monroe, our budget guy, was involved every step of the way in costing it out. We basically met the union halfway on this thing in terms of, allowing this to take place. And I think it will benefit because I think that with these new salaries, the Meadowview will be able to hire the people that they need, and that will enhance the ability to open more floor space up, take more admissions in, which will be better for the bottom line of the facility going forward. So that's where we are.
So shall we just say, you all know, one of the worst things you can do is go reopen a contract once you negotiated. So this one, I have to be honest with you, the union was pretty good about this one. They understood the concept and why we would even address the issue. They good. They came to the table. Jim.
Yeah.
Obviously, I just deal when there's major issues. So, but there were none, and then the union was very receptive. So we were happy about that.
And there's another reason they're receptive. It takes the pressure off of them. When you're working and you're short-staffed and all, that really takes a toll on the people who are in there every day. And then complicated with COVID and things like that, it's really tough. I mean, they were scrambling over there. And I think this will take a lot of the pressure off and create a much healthier work environment overall.
So the question was, other than salaries, was the expiration date changed or
No.
we back negotiating again real soon?
Everything else stays the same.
Okay.
Yeah.
That was my point. They can come back and do anything other than allow us to have that conversation about those salaries.
Just the salaries.
That's it.
Just salaries.
And targeted to the people who have to provide the care. That was the consideration.
Right. And then you'll be back negotiating that same contract again real
It's
soon.
end of 2024. The
Okay.
contract runs through 2024.
2024. Okay, got it.
Good job all the way around.
Yeah,
Worked out
no, that's good.
very nice. Okay. Roll call.
Commissioner Ballas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino?
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi?
Yes.
Commissioner Days?
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto?
Yes.
Commissioner Parker?
Yes.
Commissioner Kern?
Yes.
And Commissioner Risley.
Yes. Chair will entertain a motion to combine and adopt these next four resolutions, all appointments.
So moved.
Second.
Thank you. Any discussion on the appointments? Do we have any of the folks that are being appointed listening in? Guess not. All right. Then we'll roll
Just-
call.
Sure. Just note that it's 442 through 445.
Right, correct. All right. Any further discussion? Hearing none, roll call.
Commissioner Ballas?
Yes.
Commissioner Bertino?
Yes.
Commissioner Corsi?
Yes.
Commissioner Days?
Yes.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick?
Yes.
Commissioner Gatto?
Yes.
Commissioner Parker?
Yes.
Commissioner Kern?
Yes.
And Commissioner Risley.
Yes. Any reports of special committees of the board? Seeing none, moving on to unfinished business. Do we have any topics there to discuss? Hearing none. Go with the new business.
I'd actually like this, if I could,
Sure.
Mr. Chairman, report
Patrick?
something.
Commissioner Fitzpatrick.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Two things. The first thing is I have an email that prepared to send to Jerry and Jim, lawsuit related, since we've been so successful. And this is partnering with the Center for Climate Integrity. It's a lawsuit that is suing Big Oil for the damages that have been done due to climate change. Just like Big Tobacco, they knew, there are internal memos, all kinds of things like that. And they knew what was going to be happening, and we need that money. Taxpayers shouldn't have to pay for this. For example, the DOT does not have money to raise the Black Horse Pike, which floods on a regular basis. Situations like that. The economic driver of our county is on an island. We need money to help sustain that. In the western part of the county, we have severe weather, wind, rain, dry spells, which we're experiencing now. So I have a one-page description to give to the commissioners, and I'll email it to you. And hopefully you'll think that that's worthwhile and respond to the person who I've been working with, Lauren O'Brien. Thank you. And then the second thing is kind of on the same lines. I was at a meeting last week where the Department of Transportation Commissioner was speaking, and she talked about a pilot program that is being done regionally, New York, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, I think Maryland, to try and figure out an alternative way to raise the road money rather than through gas tax, because cars are becoming more efficient, electric vehicles are becoming more prevalent, and the money is not going to be raised to the level that it needs to be. So there's a pilot program. You can find out about it and take part in it. It measures the miles that you drive. They're just trying to see an alternative way to raise that money so that we can continue to repair and build roads.
Thank you.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
if I may, through Karen,
Thank you.
and it's probably a legal interpretation, you're passing out a paperwork, but you're asking the county to look at considering a lawsuit against this company.
All of Big Oil, yeah.
Okay, along the same line. So at some point through our attorney, would that come back as a resolution, as a recommendation to the administration, or how does that work? I mean, I don't know.
So I would say, my suggestion, you're asking me,
I am.
Commissioner? Yeah, my suggestion would be take a look at it. Obviously, the law department has to be a part of that process, and I would engage with them based on wherever that may flow out. I'm gonna give any council one of you. So ultimately, I would say possibly you might want to do something in a resolution if you think everybody's on the same page with regard to it.
Well, this is the first step, information.
Okay. Commissioner Parker?
Yes, sir. If I could give just a brief bit of good news from the Atlantic County Culture and Heritage Affairs. Just about the funding level for, I'll just read this briefly. It says, I sat down on both sides with the NJSCA and the NJHC Historical Committee annual meetings, and am pleased to announce the following 2023 award amounts for Atlantic County for Arts NJSCA, $217,500, the same as last year. We weren't sure if we're going to get the same funding, so that's good news. And also for the NJHC, the $26,250. This is the first year of a 3-year cycle. Request was the $30,000 per year, so the award is acceptable. And that is it. So for both of those, there was something else. I'll wait until it comes out and I'll report that later. But I'll wait for that one. So there's funding out there. So if anyone knows of any nonprofits that would like to take advantage of that, those applications will be coming out shortly. They'll be up on the website as well.
Very good, thank you. Anything else under new business?
New business, Mr. Chair.
Yes.
Yeah, I would just like to mention going forward, I know we never think about this when the schedule for meetings comes out, but the first Tuesday of August in every year is National Night Out. And of course, the first Tuesday of every month is a commission meeting. And I would just like to see if we could entertain either postponing the first Tuesday of August each year, or canceling that meeting. I think it's important for us as elected officials to be out. There are many residents that have questions about county government, municipal government, and they're out and about. And the whole idea behind National Night Out is to get out in the community, get the community out. And it also prevents the community from being able to come to this meeting at 4 o'clock, because in just about every municipality that hosts the National Night Out starts at 4 o'clock till 6 o'clock, which basically prevents us from, being able to go out to them. So just food for thought,
Okay.
as we're planning for,
Good point.
next year, if possible. You never want to say it the month before or something. If we,
Right.
can think about it and
Ahead of time.
if we plan things out the right way, it just means we may have a heavier meeting, at the end of July and beginning of September. So just, like I said, just food for thought.
So, Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I'm not gonna let you get away with that one. You get the same agenda we get when we do reorg meeting, right? So it tells you when those meetings are scheduled.
I just said we didn't, I don't think about it then.
Yeah, but I'm just saying.
I'm thinking about it now.
Can we think about it? But you get the same agenda. So you're
Right.
looking at that for going forward, to make sure
Yeah.
that it's not the first Tuesday or the second Tuesday that you're referring to.
First
Because
Tuesday.
you got the same agenda we have. Don't be trying to put nobody on the spot, because you voted on that.
And I'm here.
I know, but I'm just saying, but it's a good point to make.
Thank you.
I just figured I messed
Your
up.
residents in Atlantic City are missing you right now.
Yeah, but we don't start with five.
Yeah, we'll start at 4.
No, we
A
start
lot,
five.
though. A lot though. All right.
EHT's at 5:30, Galloway's at 6, Hamilton's at 6.
Great.
I wasn't gonna let that slide without, you voted on that resolution for these dates.
Tough crowd.
No.
Tough crowd.
I did. That's why I'm here.
Just letting you know.
That's why I'm here. And haven't missed one yet.
I have.
I know.
You haven't been here as long as me neither.
Any other topics to do business? Any written communications or petitions?
Mr. Chair,
Thank you.
couple written communications. I just want to highlight, back on April 19th, we requested an update from the NJDOT on the corner of Route 30 and Cologne Avenue on the expected road work. We got a response saying, that they were on schedule for a revised schedule. And then, on June 20th, I reached out, asking for an update, if we had hit the May 22 milestone advertised for construction. That went unanswered. I followed up again on July 5th, also asked about not only the May milestone, but also the late June, early July milestones to award the contracts. That went unanswered. So then I reached out to Alex in the governor's office, who helped us to, I think, prod and get a response. So we did finally get an answer that an award has been made, and a contractor selected, and that they are on schedule to start the work in early fall of this year.
Hallelujah, great.
So this is good. I'm cautiously optimistic. We'll wait and see until the shovel's actually in the ground. But I know it's something that, certainly Commissioner Dace and I have been
I know.
confident about, but I think it's something we all hear complaints about from that intersection. So some good news there, and we'll keep you updated with any further updates that we get. So I did just want to highlight that. And then also, Jared, I don't know if you want to expand upon this, but you did mention it in our budget meeting, and I think it's important. Linda did send the notification out that there will be the opioid settlement committee meeting this Friday. And I don't know if the public really understands what that opioid settlement is, how much, and maybe you could just expand upon the group that's coming together and the discussions going to have to be had.
So it's probably a year or so in the county, we participated in the lawsuit against, there are three, I think it's three, one manufacturer and three distributors. And the lawsuit, was finally settled. There's $26 billion. There's another, the Sacker family, I think, is still part, right? They haven't resolved that yet. And so there's 26 million. The county was eligible for, first of all, in the state of New Jersey, there was a series of lawyers got together. They had been hired by the individual counties. They got together to ask the state, would they be willing to make additional funding? The additional funding would go this way. All 21, at least for New Jersey, there's 21 counties. All 21 counties would have to agree. And then every municipality over 10,000 people would have to agree. You remember I told you concerning. So those lawyers from each county started making phone calls. For example, Rebecca Lafferty, who has been helping us, was making phone calls in Atlantic and I think May County. She got every single municipality over 10,000 to agree. In New Jersey, believe it or not, every municipality in every county agreed. So the state of New Jersey got additional funding. So that funding has just been distributed. The county was I think it was a little bit less than $291,000. The executive, we've had discussions. The executive decided to put a committee together. And then that committee would help us decide on how to use those funds. So come this Friday, it's at 10 o'clock at Canale. There will be this committee, it's roughly 21 people. They're from all of the either substance abuse or mental health agencies. That gentleman was invited.
Mm-hmm. Thank you.
Right. And the process that we hopefully, we'll all discuss it, but the process that we've been thinking about would be is there's an existing set of services which we will hand out. There is an Exhibit A, 16 pages worth of services that you can fund. So what we're trying to do with this committee is to determine what is actually in this community. What do we really need in this community? Do we supplement what's there? Are there programs that we need to create in this community? Or do we look on, on trying to take all those dollars and make recommendations on how we merge some of those dollars to do something brand new? So that's what will happen on Friday. And it's roughly about $291,000. And in the community, At one time, I saw something like this, 20-some million dollars worth of, alcohol, substance abuse, mental health funding that comes into the community. And most people will tell you, and I think Commissioner Fitzpatrick said it, most individuals who have a substance abuse problem have a co-occurring mental health issue. So that's why mental health will be participating in this meeting.
Yeah, thank you. I think that was a great summary. Thanks, Jim. And then finally, Mr. Chair, it's kind of go to the order, but while we have the floor, I do want to just thank Sonia, Tara, Brenda, our IT department, administrative services, and some of our members of administration for enabling the closed captioning for our meetings. I think we as a county have led the way for making meetings more accessible in our post-pandemic world. We maintained as a priority the hybrid meeting structure. I think we were the first in the county to keep doing that. I know Atlantic City has now added hybrid as well. I think we're now the first to have the closed captioning, and I think we're just setting a really good example for the municipalities, and hopefully we'll take any lessons learned that we have from our first test run today and pass that along to any municipalities who do want to invoke that same service for their residents as well. But I'm really proud of what we're doing in terms of keeping the hybrid and also staying sensitive to making things as accessible as possible to our residents. So thank you to everybody who helped make it happen.
Here, here.
Mr. Chairman, I'm not sure if this goes in good order or written communication, but I wanted to share this email. I think it's appropriate. It really goes to Jared and his team, even though it's addressed to me. Good morning, Commissioner Parker. Hope you had a wonderful weekend. Great news. We officially have natural gas service to our home. It was a challenging process, but your intervention made it significantly less stressful. This is our first interaction with the county officials, and you've made a fantastic impression. Thank you for being responsive to our questions, concerns about the situation, and enthusiastic about finding a solution. We truly appreciate the time, energy, and effort you and your team put forth to make this happen. And that, Jerry, is from Miss Tiffany Garland.
Okay, good.
So she's extremely happy.
Nice. She was very nice lady. She was there for 6-7 months without gas. If I remember approximately.
Right, absolutely. Absolutely.
Nice.
So
Good work.
kudos to you and thank you.
Where's
I
the
just-
days?
Yeah, just to Jerry, I received actually 2 emails about towns haven't been able to put out their tax bills, and implying that they're waiting for something from the county. Is this because of the pilot?
No,
Nothing
no,
to do
my
with that. Okay.
understanding is that the equalization has not been completed yet. It
Okay.
has nothing to do with county government. We struck, you all voted on the budget, we
The
struck.
county tax office
It's
is a
not
state,
county
right?
government. What happens is because the verbiage Atlantic County, but I believe it has to do with the Board of Taxation. I mean, a bond is here.
It is, yeah, I just emailed Keith myself,
Okay,
because we have taxes due that are on August 15th.
right.
And he said that he was finalizing some numbers and he expected that the abstract was gonna be complete tomorrow.
Okay. Thank you. I mean, I know it's a state office, but it's county.
Well,
Right.
I tell you, make sure so I'm riding in the car with guys I play golf with, and so they got their tax bills, I'm like, blaming me because they're, whatever, whatever. Okay.
All right, thank you for that.
We'll open the meeting to the public now. If there's any comment by anyone, this is your opportunity. Hello, please give your name and address.
Hi, my name's Mary Slowline. My address is 9 Exeter Court in Margate, New Jersey. And I actually came here today to talk about Resolution 357 dated June 21st of 2022. Topic of that, the title of that resolution was Atlantic County Resolution in support of women's right to sovereignty over their own bodies. I understand that this resolution was tabled. I'd like to know what is the status of it. When you say something's tabled, does that mean it goes to hell and never comes back? Or is it recharged again? Can you reintroduce it?
Sure. We had a committee. It was tabled. It went to committee. The committee discussed the topic and decided that not to forward any new resolution.
Well, let me ask you, on your committee, other than Commissioner Fitzpatrick, was there any other women, because we have two very capable women, were there any other women on that committee?
No.
Is there and who appoints the people that are on that committee?
Well, we have established committees at the beginning of the year, and I just happen to be on the particular health committee.
And there were no women on the health committee?
Well, Commissioner Fitzpatrick was on it.
I just find it extremely disconcerting because I haven't been here in a very long time. But the last time I was here, it was over the group of people that were coming in and they were fighting for their Second Amendment rights, which are guaranteed under the Constitution. So they basically took up an awful lot of this gentleman's time and everybody else here for multiple meetings, and we can't even get this out. I think you really are doing a disservice to the women of Atlantic County. Thank you.
Anyone else like to speak?
Marlene McPherson, 60 Norfolk Glebe Place, Atlantic City, New Jersey. And I too support the resolution. I think that it's absurd that a Second Amendment resolution can get through and the women's rights can't. I think it's disgusting.
Thank you. Anyone else like to speak?
Good afternoon. My name is Dale Archie out of Pleasantville, New Jersey. Good afternoon, everyone.
Good afternoon.
Commissioner Karen, I would love to have met you personally in that on the video, but Karen, what is it? Karen?
Well, there's Karen Fitzpatrick and Maureen Kern.
Chairwoman.
Okay.
Chairperson. I would like to invite you to Pleasantville council meetings, Commissioner Karen. Did I get rid of that? Kern. Commissioner Kern. Okay, Chairwoman Kern. Before you say yes or no, I'm gonna give you the date so we can put that on the record. And if you can, I would be highly appreciated if you would attend. The dates are August the 15th, September the 7th, September the 19th, October the 3rd, October the 17th, November the 7th, and November the 21st, December the 5th, and December 19th, 2022. Fellow commissioners constituents that have attended Pleasantville City Council meetings, I appreciate your time that you have stepped out and came forward to here. And again, Commissioner Kern, due to the redistricting thing that took place, we would like to meet you.
Okay.
We'd like you to come out and talk to us and give us your input, and just come out, not stepping on the mayor's toes, but just coming out and introduce yourself to the residents of Pleasantville. We lost our good friend here, Mr. Corsi. He got tired of us, so he left us.
You were doing good for me.
So thank you. Can I get your answer on that one? Would you come out?
Yes, thank you very much. Absolutely.
Thank you very much. Next question
Thank
I
you.
have. Thank you. Next question I have. Old Turnpike.
Yeah.
Coming off of Route 9 all the way to the end of Fire Road.
Old Turnpike doesn't run to.
What is that then? Tilton.
Old
I'm sorry, Tilton. My fault. Tilton, yes. It's running 40 miles an hour, speed limit. It's been a while, I guess, in the past, and that's why the speed limit was what it is. Since then, as we know, many homes have been built in that area. So all the side streets coming out is 25 miles an hour. If it falls under your jurisdiction, can you lower that speed limit? Because when I come out off of my street on Lincoln, right onto that Fire Road, if I don't floor it, I'm getting reared in. And that counts for every other street that comes out to Fire Road. So Tilton. Thank you. Long day.
Yeah, you're talking about the road that's running by Walmart. That's the one you're talking.
Starting from Route 9 all the way to Fire. Yes. Yeah. Can we lower that? Thank you, and it was nice meeting you guys, and I guess I'll be back. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.
You're welcome.
Anyone else like to speak?
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Tim Jones from Pleasantville. And I would like to proudly announce that the Pleasantville City Council did rescind that deal to do enter into a sewer concession deal that would have been, in my opinion, devastating to our community. But I'm very, very confident that this is a done deal. That will not occur now.
Good.
And I'm very pleased about that. And thank you, Commissioner Fitzpatrick, for chiming in on that matter at the appropriate time. I think it was helpful. The other thing that I am now thinking about is the infrastructure funds that have been, talked about on the federal level. And I was just wondering, Commissioner Kern, have you had any communication with the administration of Pleasantville with regards to access to those funds to solve the infrastructure issues that are, still looming in the Pleasantville area that do affect this whole county because of the location, proximity of Pleasantville to Atlantic City and offshore communities? Have you had any communication with the Pleasantville administration, the mayor or city council or the business administrator? Just, has there been any communication? I'm not asking any particulars. I'm just wondering, has there been any communication between yourself or other commissioners with regards to those matters?
You're talking about the federal infrastructure?
Correct.
I think we would have to see what was actually appropriated via those funds that we would have access to. And that's a good question.
Yeah, I'm not familiar with that process, how it gets from there to there.
It's a process.
I understand. It is a process, but I just, I'm here to encourage your participation and kind of connecting that dot to communities like Pleasantville, because now they're not getting that $15 million carrot that was, just that, a carrot. Now they're doing good. It looks like they're doing bonding and other ways to actually accomplish necessary projects. But I just was like, well, if there's federal monies available, we need to get that communication flow going, and that's.
You know that there's a lot of roads in Pleasantville that need.
Yes.
But to all fairness and for the record, I do know, for example, for a fact, that Mayor Ward has been in contact not only with the state, but have attempted to talk to Cory Booker and Menendez and them about federal funds as well. But the state of New Jersey need to step their behinds up as well to find some additional monies. Listen, I'm Team Murphy. I make no qualms about it. But you can't keep coming to Atlantic County and not stopping in Pleasantville to see the problem.
Right.
You can go all the way around it, but you're not stopping in Pleasantville. Pleasantville got the same damn problem. Newark and all of that. You got.
There's so many
I know
communities.
that the mayor has been attempting to talk to Alex and other people in the governor's office to try to find some additional funds in Pleasantville. They're still talking about the old turnpike road over there where the old fuel used to be.
Yes.
All that stuff has been talked about. It's one thing to talk about it. The real question becomes where we're going to find the funding and when can, whether it's the federal level or the state level, when can we get some money down here? And it's been an ongoing thing even under Mayor Tweedle. It's sometimes like talking to a brick wall. It's not going unheard. They just not giving us the answers that we're asking for. And I know for a fact she's been on the phone with her business administrator, have been attempting to even get the governor down to do a tour. We had folks from the governor's office who actually came and did a whole tour of Pleasantville. That's all it was a tour. No commitments.
Yeah, we really kind of
and
work on
so,
that.
So it's been talk. I can't tell you they're gonna give you $500 million.
Right.
I just know it's been talk. And talk is cheap. So we just gotta find some funding.
I just want to ask a question. Jerry, don't we sometimes partner with municipalities and help them write grants and,
There have been times that the town, sometimes the towns come in and ask, this infrastructure and Investment Act, those grants come out individually. So for example, if they're coming out with money for like roads and bridges, you've got to go there and apply directly. So if the mayor is actually contacting, Senator Booker, Senator Mendez, that's great. What we do is we go online and we see what's available, and then we have to make our applications like everybody else in the country does.
Or do resolutions of support for whatever the municipality is applying for.
Correct.
And if I'm not mistaken, the last time I had a public meeting with the lieutenant governor, it was regarding Atlantic City with streets. And there's pot of monies that's in there for that kind of stuff. So that means we still got to reach out to our assembly people and our senators to see if in fact they can do some assistance in terms of getting, whether that money's coming through DCA, Department of Transportation, or wherever, advocating on behalf of the city of Pleasantville as well. So there's pots of monies out there. The question is, how do we access that money?
Yeah, it's interesting you mentioned the dual fuel situation. That should have been remediated a long time ago before they went out of business, blah, 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 but it didn't happen. And that is like a little growing community along that neighborhood, interestingly enough. That could actually be something substantial for the area in terms of tourism and things like that. But you have these eyesores like that. You know, that could all be parking. If nothing else, parking that could facilitate a walking community. Yeah, you know, just a walking space community. I love going places. I was in Collinswood a couple of weeks ago, and just the nature of how that's flowing is very pleasant. You know, I like to go to Toronto, and then they have that kind of thing magnified all over the place. You know. One more point,
Mr.
Excuse me.
Mr. Chair. So I've been in contact with Mayor Ward, with Stanley Swan, councilman, with a few other councilmen. I talk with the chief of police all the time because I'm president of the police foundation there. There is big federal money that's coming into Pleasantville. I don't know if you've heard about it. The grant that was written by Jim Rittolta, basically going from, I believe it's Mulberry Avenue to Bayview Avenue, from Franklin to Route 9, improving infrastructure. It's through the Housing Authority, Federal Housing Authority, and Vernon Lawrence with the local housing authority in Pleasantville. So it just hasn't started yet, but that's already been announced. They've already been awarded, and there will be a lot of infrastructure. I believe that they're getting into the septic system, the sewer system. If they're getting into that, you know, there's going to be road improvements. They're looking at improving the area around the transit village, which is the bus station, and you know, that area. So there are some things that are on the burner right now. And hopefully that all will continue to move forward and come to fruition.
Thank you very much. Just one more quick point. I just recently bought an e-bike, and I just noticed there's hardly any place you could actually park a bike in this whole county. I just hope we can actually get there.
Well, you mean park the bike and be able to come back? Okay.
If you want to talk about federal infrastructure top dollars, this is my
Bike
favorite
racks.
topic because we spent an obscene amount of money with federal dollars because of what they require to put 100 bike racks in Margate, Ventnor, Longport.
Yeah.
The process to get bike racks. I mean,
Wow.
they all know because it blows my mind.
Wow.
The amount of engineering. As I said, I could have gotten my uncles and my dad and a couple cases of beer and gotten it done for far less time and money. So we have to that is something that's a valid concern.
Yeah.
I don't know if the federal funding is the way to go for that, but I think it's a great topic to talk about and see what we can do and what is out there that it could get it done faster and more reasonably.
Thank you, Commissioner. And thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir. Anyone else like to speak? If not, well, yes, ma'am.
My name is Carolyn Rush, and I'm actually from Cape May County. I'm not even sure if I'm allowed to address this group. I belong to a group that Karen Fitzpatrick is also a part of. And she did mention the last time that we were all together about the resolution for the women's reproductive freedom. And I know that Mary and Marlene discussed it. What was the gist of that resolution?
Well, the original resolution was in support of Roe versus Wade, I guess. I don't have it in front of me, but that was basically what it was about.
Okay, to have this committee show support of that?
Yes.
Okay, and it got tabled. I didn't understand the responses that you gave to the other ladies. Will it be brought forward again for this committee to discuss?
No, the committee decided not to forward a new resolution.
And if somebody on the committee decides that they want to talk about it more, I guess they would
They can do
bring
that.
forth a new
They
resolution?
can do that.
Okay, I would encourage all of you to do that because I think it is something that is definitely worth discussing and making sure that everybody's on the same page because women's rights are very important and we need to make sure that they are protected. I want to commend Karen for the resolution or the issue that she brought up today about the lawsuit for climate change and the costs that taxpayers all over the country are having to foot the bill for. So I think that's wonderful. And when I go to the Cape May County meetings, I may suggest that they follow suit and file something similar. Maybe there'd be some synergy that could be
Mr. Chair,
Thank you.
may I ask one question?
Sure.
I'm just curious, is there a women's right or something is there something that's not wrong, that's wrong here in Atlantic County that we need to address?
What was wrong with the resolution that was brought forward? That's what I'm trying to understand. What was in the resolution that
I don't
was-
recall, I don't recall what they were,
Yeah, I was-
how it was worded.
Yeah, I was wondering
There was
what
a
was in it.
subcommittee, when he says committee,
Here's the
there was a
resolution.
subcommittee that met. But what I'm saying, is there a certain topic or a certain issue that we need to address to get fixed for the women of Atlantic County or the state of New Jersey? We have no control over the state of New Jersey, but we can at least ask.
Yeah, I'm not exactly sure. If you want me to take the time to read the resolution, I guess, was there something in the resolution that was objectionable to the committee?
Karen, do you remember the comment?
Yeah, the resolution, was presented on the Tuesday before Roe v. Wade was overturned on Friday. We didn't know that was gonna happen or when it was gonna happen.
Mm-hmm.
So the resolution was to support federal law in lieu of Roe v. Wade.
And that still needs to happen.
And the commissioners and the committee felt that that was not a county responsibility. It's a federal responsibility.
It is definitely a federal responsibility, but the county could voice their support for our federal legislators, meaning our representative as well as our senators.
They could.
Yeah, that if that's part of what that resolution was meant to do, I'd love to see it brought forward again and have them encouraged by this committee to do the right things at the federal level. Thank you for giving me a chance to talk.
Can I just ask, what was the name of the organization that you're with?
South Jersey Democratic Women's Forum. That's what Karen and I are part of.
Thank you.
Okay.
Anyone else like to speak? Okay, hearing none, comments for the good of the order before we close?
Mr. Chairman, if I may, I just want to keep in prayer and thoughts Bishop John Gandy's family.
Yeah.
Bishop Gandy lost his brother in a terrible motorcycle slash U-Haul truck, apparently. Allegedly ran a stop sign Friday in Atlantic City. He was on his motorcycle and he tried to apparently skid away from the guy right before the stop sign. Either the guy didn't see it or whatever happened. But anyway, unfortunately, Mr. Gandy, one of the Gandy brothers, has since passed away. We will keep Bishop Gandy and his family in our prayers and thoughts.
Mr. Chair.
Bounce.
Yeah, on that same note, if we could keep Jim Mott and his family of Mott Associates, they've done a lot of auditing for the county. Their daughter was on a bicycle and ran over by a tractor trailer in New York and killed. 28 years old. So keep his family in our thoughts and prayers.
Absolutely. I'd just like to say in closing that I certainly appreciate the tenacity of Commissioner Days and Gatto on the Route 30 and Malone Avenue situation. That's what it takes sometimes. And I certainly appreciate, I think I speak for everyone on the governing body, that we say thank you for what you did.
Absolutely.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes.
I just wanted to make for the good of the order. August is National Immunization Awareness Month. And what we've been living the past few years provides us with a friendly reminder of the importance of immunization. It's also National Back to School Month, signaling the winding down of summer vacation. And I guess a little time for Rich to go back. Yeah,
Thank you. And along those same lines, the county is still giving free COVID-19 shots for kids and adults and those that are homebound that can't get out. So just a matter of calling the county and scheduling that time.
Oh, Mr. Chairman, before you close, let me just again thank the county through ACI, Atlantic County Improvement Authority. So we're clear, there are still funds available for rental assistance and utility assistance. So we have been calling around, be getting misinformation, or telling people in the community that funding is not available. I did call ACI and they made it very clear funding is still there. And we're encouraging people, if they need the assistance, to reach out. I've sent a couple people there and they were very pleased with the staff getting back to a response. It couldn't help you to try to figure out another way to get you some help. But there's funding there. Don't wait till the sheriff knock on your door and say you're evicted. But if you don't take advantage of it, I don't know what else to tell you. Funding is available. So kudos to the administration continuing to try to get that message out.
Anything else before we close?
I have
Motion
one
for
other thing that I meant to mention. I spent a
You
decent
want to come up
amount
to
of
the podium, please?
I have been visiting a friend at Meadowview Nursing Home in Good Bit.
Yes.
And I know a number of the caregivers there have commented on the fact that there was supposedly some COVID relief money that they were supposed to get access to that they have not.
We're all familiar with that topic, yeah.
Okay, is it being addressed, being taken care of
It has been addressed,
recently?
yes.
Unfortunately, it was addressed. There's no changing to what the county has offered them. It is what it is.
Is it from the state then? Like is
It was money.
the money that they think they're entitled to that they haven't received, do they have to work with the state to get that?
They had to work for the administration. They apparently met with the union. Some agreed to it.
Yeah, I heard about that whole aspect of it, but is there more state money that came from the federal government
No,
that they
not aware.
can go after? No?
So it's only a
So
federal.
they've gotten everything that they can?
Yes,
Thank you.
you're welcome. Anything else before we close?
Motion for adjournment.
Thank you. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.